The blue Avians, stop time now. Greetings to you, beloved ones who walk the sacred earth at this time. You are a great light worker, spreading the purity of divine light everywhere you go. Blessings to you all. Are you ready to leave behind the 3D illusion? If so, affirm yes. When you affirm, you are prepared to see beyond the curtains of the game. Understanding how the game works enables you to gradually become a creator, learning how to plant the seeds of creation in your reality. It all begins with understanding time. Time is the primary construct that sustains the illusionary perception. When you understand time, you free yourself from its constraints. Time is not real, it is a creation of the human mind, programmed into your DNA by certain species. It served your 3D experience, but now you are invited to level up. Human DNA was programmed to generate a specific field of perception that gives the impression of linear time. This programming causes your mind to perceive a yesterday, a tomorrow, and a continuity between them. However, your reality is generated spontaneously. Imagine a computer game, a simulation, where reality expands. As you move forward, you simply perceive more. As you progress, the story unfolds as you step forward. This is how your reality works. There is nothing until you start thinking, then you begin projecting your thoughts and feelings, creating a story that follows that vibration. In truth, there is only this moment, as it is nothing else. The next moment is a new one that has never existed before and is not connected to the previous one except through your memory. When you understand this, you realize you are free to generate a completely new reality in each new moment. There is no need to repeat past experiences, or continue stories you do not wish to continue. You can change the game at any time. What we are sharing with you may sound theoretical, but we want you to first envision it. Let the information be absorbed. Since there is no linear time, you are also free to move into different time frame realities, and even experience them simultaneously. This ability depends on your system's capacity to support it, but it all starts with opening your mind and being willing to have the experience. Of course, it is not enough to simply say, I want to go to the year 1770. You must also understand how that can happen, so your mind can believe and then create the experience for you. You can move through time by using specific frequencies that generate a field allowing you to have the experience. These frequencies can be accessed in altered states of mind, like the theta and delta states, which you already enter frequently at night when you think you are sleeping. But what if you learn how to do it consciously? Can you envision how, in the blink of an eye, you could experience another reality? And if so, would you be ready? These guidelines are for those of you who are courageous, those who, tomorrow, might be ready to move on to Mars, so to speak. If this describes you, please follow our guidelines. Say, I am prepared to experience another time frame reality. With detachment and love, I now tune in with the energy of the blue Avians, calling for support for this to happen. You might then wish to learn how to have an out-of-body experience. This is the frequency. Why? Because you are not teleporting. You are dissolving into your light body, so you can access your multidimensionality. In a state of deep relaxation, while listening to binaural sounds that facilitate your process, imagine a light body stepping out of your physical body. Practice this a few times until you feel it. We have created a Merkaba encoded with sacred frequencies that will keep you safe. Then, imagine where you want to go. Envision the year, how people look, the place, and as many details as you can. Visualization is a crucial key here, so be sure to train it well. Imagine. And then, leap into that reality. You might do this while falling asleep, trying to maintain awareness, and gradually, you will learn how to do it more spontaneously. Remember, it is a frequency, and once you learn how to reach it, it becomes registered in your system, creating new neural pathways that pave the way for your experience. At first, you will need considerable time to reach the frequency, but gradually, you will be able to say the key code and access the frequency, like out of body or time travel now. It may take time to practice, but know that it is possible. The doorways through time have been opened, and the portals await you now. Are you ready? Hakann, the Manifestation Hierarchy. My dearest brothers and sisters, this is Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. Often on your world, people ask how they can manifest or create the reality they desire. Or someone says that if people follow a few steps, then they can manifest anything they want. Now, there is some truth to this idea of creating your own reality. However, most likely you have tried to manifest something, and it didn't always work. Most spiritual people know the idea of manifesting things, yet most of them aren't financially independent, and also in a blissful relationship, and also otherwise living the life of their dreams. Moreover, if there really was a series of manifestation steps that always worked, then that series of steps would have become world famous long ago, and everyone on your world would be living in abundance right now. So, rather than think in terms of I can manifest whatever I want if I set an intention and do some visualizations, the following is a lot closer to reality. It's not 100% accurate because reality is really complex, but the following is quite accurate. First of all, if Source intervenes, or makes a decree, then that happens, no matter what people try to manifest. Now, Source doesn't often do this, and often even when Source does this, the intervention or decree is done in such a way that there's still plenty of room for free will to play out. An example of that is the current Earth Humans Will Be Free decree, which doesn't specify an exact timeline or method of liberation. But still, because Source has decreed this, manifestations to keep Earth humans locked down will ultimately fail. Next up, if Source doesn't intervene, then powerful beings might intervene, such as an archangel Lord Jesus. This might look like a higher being just appearing to a person, or helping them out in some way. Alternatively, suppose a dark magician tries to manifest the death or ruin of a person. Yes, manifesting negative things onto other people is possible. However, suppose that person has accepted Jesus as their Lord, or has asked for protection from benevolent beings. Then it's entirely possible that these powerful benevolent beings will override the negative manifestation by the dark magician. Later in this message we'll share how you can ask for such protection. If neither Source nor powerful beings intervene, then what manifests in your life is usually what your soul wants. Note that souls are typically more focused on learning and having experiences, and being of service, and attaining soul growth, and are less focused on pleasure and comfort than the vehicles of people typically are. A person's vehicle is their mind, body, and emotions, which is metaphorically being directed by their immortal reincarnating soul. If neither Source nor powerful beings nor your soul intervene, then what manifests in your life are strong feelings or distortions from your subconscious. If any are there, it's possible to have a calm subconscious. So if you were raised in a way that made you feel unlovable, then it will be hard to manifest a healthy relationship with a partner who deeply loves you because of what's stored in your subconscious, except if your soul intervenes. Yes, that is quite unfair and very painful, but it often is how it works. And if neither Source nor powerful beings, nor your soul, nor your subconscious intervene, then you can manifest things with your emotions and conscious minds. This can be done through classic manifestation techniques such as setting the intention, visualizing that you already have that thing in the present, feeling the corresponding emotion, and then taking relevant action. So, now do you see why manifestation techniques sometimes seem to work and sometimes don't seem to work? If you use manifestation techniques, and neither Source nor powerful beings nor your soul nor your subconscious intervene, then manifestation techniques can work, sometimes even shockingly well. However, what often happens in practice is that someone tries to manifest a life that they perceive as better than their current life. However, their soul wants them to remain in their current life, to learn more lessons or release resistance. Or there are blocks in their subconscious that prevent that desired life from manifesting. And so the manifestation effort fails. For example, this channeler has used manifestation techniques to manifest first a relationship within a few weeks, and then a great job within a few weeks. He did this with only a small amount of intention setting and visualization, and relevant action. This worked very well, because at the time, his subconscious and soul were on board with him manifesting these things. However, that relationship ended, and more recently the channeler has completely failed to manifest a new relationship. Why? He still has great manifestation skills. It's just that right now his soul wants him to be single until he has released resistance to being single and has learned certain lessons. And so the channeler isn't able to manifest a relationship right now. This is why we have been describing this manifestation hierarchy in this message. People's conscious minds are only able to manifest things if Source and then powerful beings and then their soul and then their subconscious aren't intervening. With this in mind, I would advise against comparing your life to other people and concluding that the person whose life is more pleasant must be the more spiritually accomplished person. After all, this channeler is more spiritually advanced than the average person on Earth. Yet there are plenty of spiritually unadvanced people out there who are in a happy relationship, while currently this channeler is not. This doesn't prove that this channeler is less spiritually advanced than an average person. All it means is that currently, the channeler's soul wants him to learn certain lessons, and the soul of an average person in a happy relationship currently isn't pushing that person to learn those lessons. Perhaps the average person in a happy relationship still needs to learn these lessons someday that the channeler is currently learning. This is one example of why we would be careful about comparing ourselves with others. Just because another person has a more pleasant life than you do, doesn't automatically mean that they're more spiritually advanced than you are, or that they made better choices. Your soul doesn't think in terms of more pleasant life equals better. Instead, it's all just experiences to your soul. Similarly, if you are the one with the more pleasant life, we would also advise you against concluding that you must be more spiritually accomplished than people with less pleasant lives. If you have a great life, we would also caution against telling people that they can easily build or manifest their own dream life. Just because you had a soul that was in alignment with you achieving a successful and happy life, doesn't mean that everyone's soul is. Also, if you have a great life, that doesn't automatically mean that you've learned all your lessons. Even a person who is merely at the point where they've learned most lessons will either ascend or will have had a very clear and unmistakable experience that they could have ascended in this lifetime, but that they consciously chose to stay instead. We have joked to the channeler that once he learned all his lessons, he should just teleport on board our ships and meet us, because a person who has learned all their lessons and has released all their resistance could literally do that. Perhaps some Earth people will actually do that in the future, although most probably we will land before anyone on Earth gets to that level. So in other words, don't be so quick to think that you've learned all your lessons. On the other hand, your life circumstances certainly don't entirely depend on what your soul wants. Actively working towards building a better life still matters a great deal, of course. While there are situations where someone's soul wants them to have a certain tough experience, to learn certain lessons, often a person's soul isn't intervening one way or the other, and whether the person finds success and happiness simply depends on their own efforts. Furthermore, even if your soul wants you to be in a tough situation, to learn certain lessons, then as soon as you learn those lessons your soul may very well be entirely on board with you having a better life. So if your soul wants you to learn a certain lesson, then the answer is to reflect and release resistance, and go learn those lessons, and not wallow in self-pity. And then once you have learned those lessons, it's entirely possible that your life will become more pleasant. So, let's say that you want to manifest something. What would I recommend that you do? I would consider each step of this manifestation hierarchy in turn. I would first consider, do I want to say out loud that I am in service to Source? Because after all, Source sits on top of this hierarchy, and so aligning yourself with Source can be a very worthwhile path. Saying you are in service to Source doesn't always make your life easier, but it can make your life richer and more fulfilling. Then I would consider the level of powerful beings. One classically Western option is to say, I accept Jesus as my Lord, and then to occasionally pray to Jesus, or ask Him for help. This can be beneficial, although don't immediately expect your chosen life to manifest. Another option is to go the Eastern route, and devote yourself in joyful and loving worship to your chosen ascended master or deity. A third option is what Tunia shared in her previous message, Tunia, healing past life trauma and priestly magic. So if you want to manifest a happy relationship, you could say the following out loud. May the following happen in accordance with the highest divine blueprint, and I am asking wise and benevolent beings, forces, and aspects of existence to assist me with this. I am going to find a happy relationship. Thank you, now. And then after that, go take relevant action, and or follow your intuition if it nudges you to do a certain thing. Now, the exact wording of this priestly magic doesn't matter that much. You could swap around some words or change the ordering of the sentences a bit, and it would still work. On the other hand, there is a reason behind each one of the sentences, and I wouldn't just omit one of those sentences entirely. If you want an explanation about why each of these sentences are there, see the previously mentioned article. This priestly magic doesn't guarantee success, because it might actually not be in accordance with the highest divine blueprint. That you enter a relationship at this time, perhaps you still have lessons to learn while being single, for example. So it can still be worthwhile to talk to your soul, as we'll describe later in this message. But you certainly could try priestly magic, and it can be very effective to ask powerful beings to assist you in this way. And if you want to ask for protection, as we detailed earlier, you can say the following out loud, and you will only need to say it once. May the following happen in accordance with the highest divine blueprint, and I am asking wise and benevolent beings, forces, and aspects of existence to assist me with this. I am protected for the rest of my life. Thank you, now. This is effective, but note that mundane unpleasant things might still happen to you. Higher beings won't necessarily feel the need to intervene to stop those. Also, even substantially bad things might still happen to you, if those things can teach you important lessons. Regardless, some bad things will likely be prevented by this, in a behind-the-scenes way, that you probably won't even notice. Okay, so we have looked at the level of source, and we have looked at the level of powerful beings. Next up, let's look at the level of your soul. To a large extent, your soul determines what happens in your life. It can quite easily manifest things in your life. It wouldn't be inaccurate to think of your reincarnating, immortal soul as the real you, and to think of your body and mind and emotions as the vehicle that your soul is currently having an experience through. Hence, your soul and higher beings aren't nearly as concerned with safety and pleasure and comfort as people's vehicles are. After all, the real you, your immortal soul, is safe regardless. And if you wanted to have a pleasant life, your soul would have chosen to be born on, for example, the Pleiades, rather than being born on Earth. Because your soul is so important, and because it's higher in the manifestation hierarchy than your conscious mind is, it makes sense to talk to your soul. If you are able to do so, I explained how in my previous message Hakann, how to talk to your soul. Alternatively, even if you can't directly talk to your soul, you might have an intuitive knowing of what it wants. If you can talk to your soul, it's a good idea to align your vehicle, your body, mind, and emotions to your soul. You're not going to be able to bend your soul to your will. But usually your life will improve if you align your vehicle, body, mind, and emotions to what your soul wants. If your soul wants you to be in a certain unpleasant situation, to learn certain lessons, then the best way to get out of that situation is to just ask your soul which lessons exactly it wants you to learn. And then go learn those lessons. Once you have learned those lessons, it's entirely possible that your life will improve. Next up, the fourth level is your subconscious. For this level, I recommend that whenever pain, or so-called negative emotions arise in you, you observe, you feel, and only then decide if you want to go into the thought. This was described in more detail in the previous message. Ashtar, observe, feel, and only then decide if you want to go into the thought. And finally, we reach the 5th level of your vehicle, namely your body and mind and emotions. If none of the other 4 higher levels are blocking you, then you can use classic manifestation techniques here, and they may work quite well for you. Note that if you align more of these levels towards one purpose, then you will become more powerful as a manifester. If your soul wants you to become, for example, a spiritual teacher, and you clear your subconscious of pain and blocks, and you align your vehicle towards that purpose as well, then likely you will become a decently impactful spiritual teacher. If your soul wants you to work towards some beneficial purpose, and you clear your subconscious of pain and blocks, and you align your vehicle towards that purpose, and you also get powerful benevolent beings on board, whether via praying to Jesus, or via Eastern devotion, or via Tunia's priestly magic, then you can have a world-changing impact. And if you say that you are in service to Source, and you listen to your soul, or to powerful benevolent beings about what exactly you should practically do, and you clear your subconscious of pain and blocks, and you align your vehicle towards that purpose as well, then you can have a galaxy-changing impact. Admittedly, this galaxy-changing impact might be energetic and subtle. You won't necessarily become rich or famous. It might also take years for your path to unfold. Still, eventually you will likely have a great impact indeed. I hope this was helpful. The upcoming times may be chaotic. I would like to remind you that the more things happen, even if they are chaotic events, the closer your liberation will become. And all roads lead to your liberation. The day when we finally meet will be glorious indeed. I love you so very much, and you have my deepest respect for holding on to the light in the midst of such craziness. Your Earth Brother, Hakann, sorcererofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light, click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.